some of these things. I'm telling you, at the joint PG of Azimio, I was there. You can ask me. These two were not there. He never attends PG meetings.
No, I was in that. I do.
Yeah. You don't. I'm the one who takes minutes here. Ojienda, you never attend meetings. He was not at the... Just a minute. He was not at the ODM PG. He was not at the Azimio PG. At the Azimio PG, because all these other political parties had met. So the first thing we did when we started the meeting of the Azimio PG is to read the resolutions of the different political parties. And I read the resolutions as SG on behalf of ODM. I remember the senator for Kitui giving the resolutions of Wiper. And by the way, do you know, out of all those political parties, there were some that said they are opposed to dialogue, for instance. DAP Kenya were on record saying they want nothing to do with any national conversation. We have taken the position that we can talk to anyone. Wiper said they are willing to talk. Kalonzo Musyoka was our lead in the NADCO talks that resulted in some of these bills that my brother is talking about. He is not averse to the conversation. The Jubilee team also said they are not willing to engage with William Ruto in terms of any particular conversation, which is a position that we respect. Trevor, do you know what the coalition document says about disagreement in the coalition? It says that if you are not able to reach a common position, because decisions of the coalition have to be taken by consensus. Yeah. If you are not able to reach consensus, you are supposed to put it to a vote. There is no way we can put any matter in Azimio to a vote at a PG, because ODM is going to always to win. We have the numbers to win, but we never do that because as a party, we respect that these decisions have to be reached together by consensus. So
according to you, Azimio is still intact?
Azimio is still intact. I have not seen any ODM political party. ODM has not left Azimio. There's no such resolution. And when I speak like this, you'll ask me, are you speaking for yourself or the party?
Yeah. So
I speak for organs of the party. If an organ of the party, if you resolve the decision to join Azimio, I was still the SG then. Last year before the election. It went through started at the Central Committee, a report by the party leader that he has been engaging in these conversations. It was ratified. It went to the National Executive Committee of the party. It was ratified. Yeah. I called the NGC. It was ratified at Bomas. And we took it all the way to the National Delegates Convention. It was ratified. So I can speak authoritatively for these organs of the party because I was there when those resolutions were being made. And it is my mandate to do so. So as we speak right now, Trevor, there is no resolution of any organ of ODM to disassociate ourselves from Azimio. And because we respect these partners, we are going to insist on consensus building on all these controversial issues. And I'm not aware of any decision of any of those constituent parties to abandon Azimio. I want to thank all the Kenyans across the world who have reached out to me to try and understand what is going on. I want to just say that, first of all, as the Secretary General of ODM, I sit in all organs of the party, and that as SG of ODM, I am the spokesperson of all of those organs of the party. Kenyans at this particular moment in time, they just want someone to level with them and tell them the truth. Of course, there's been a lot of speculation as to the import of what happened yesterday. But the truth of the matter is that there is no decision of any organ of ODM that I sit in to join the Ruto government. In fact, ever since the meeting at KICC, where the first product of the NADCO conversation was being birthed, the signature on the IEBC Act, I think there has been a deliberate effort to misrepresent the position of the party, especially in the print media. And I have to be honest with you, Trevor, that I personally am not very happy with the way that the media has chosen to report the matters that have happened in the past few weeks, because at KICC, our leader spoke very clearly that what the party would have wanted to see is a national conversation. And there has been a deliberate effort in media to conflate a national dialogue with a dialogue between ODM and UDA, or between Raila Odinga and William Ruto, to join his government. Nothing could be further from the truth. And we are being accused of not communicating clearly. We are being accused of prevaricating. We are being accused of doublespeak. We are being accused of being wishy-washy or being turncoats and turning at every turn. But I have been very clear as SG of ODM. If you look at the communication that has come from the party, from the decision or the communication at KICC during the signature of the IEBC bill, Raila Odinga said that we as a party would welcome a national conversation to address the issues that have been raised by the Gen Zs, that have been raised by people that have bedeviled this country over a period of time. And when he finished that conversation, he came and convened a central committee of the party, because that's what Baba always does. If there is no opportunity for us to meet before an event, he always comes back to the party to brief the party and to take a common position. So he comes and we have a central committee of the party. And after that central committee of the party, we make a declaration, a statement from ODM. I write these statements myself and I read them myself. There is no confusion on the part of the SG of ODM. There is no confusion on the part of any organ of the party. We say that for us, the most important conversation is to have a dialogue amongst ourselves as Kenyans, not a table where it is ODM and UDA, but a table where all Kenyans are there. And I remember saying in that statement that we will go to any table as ODM to have a conversation about the issues that have arisen, the issues that have bedeviled this country for a long time. If it is tribalism, it is unemployment, it is all of those things, the quest for justice and social inclusion. We said we would go to any table. We also said, Trevor, that we would not object to any person being on that table. If we went to that meeting and we found the devil there, we would allow him to say his bit, because I also have things to say to the devil. If the devil asks me for a meeting, I will go to that meeting. I have things to say to the devil. You know, I need to tell him that scripture is clear. He will not win. It is clear that he's in a losing battle. He might as well give up already. And the Bible tells me that God himself, in the book of Job, has conversations with the devil. You cannot tell me there's a table that I cannot go to. So we make it very clear that we will not object if we get to that table and we find Tom Ojienda there. I will not say I don't want to see Tom Ojienda there.
Okay.
I want to have a conversation with him. There is a second meeting, Trevor. This time, of the Central Committee, of the PG, of the National Executive Committee of ODM.
Yeah.
If you look at the ODM party constitution, it is the responsibility of the Secretary General, Sifuna, for this instance, to take the minutes of those meetings and to read the declarations of those meetings. On that particular day, I was actually supposed to be on a flight at 6 p.m. to Italy. There was a conversation I was going to Lake Como. I read the resolutions of ODM as passed by the joint PG and NEC, and in none of those resolutions was there a resolution to join the Ruto government.
Okay.
So what has happened is this. I, as a lawyer, understand that the president has a prerogative to nominate any person to his cabinet. Any person. So if he has been having conversations with John Mbadi, you will not get me to say anything bad about John Mbadi. He's a man that I've worked with in ODM for a very long time. But if he is honest, he will tell you there was no resolution of any organ of the party, because he sits in his organs of the party.
Okay.
For him to join government, he has been tapped by the president. He has accepted.
Yeah.
So we don't begrudge these four people. But for you to conflate and say ODM has joined government is to tell an open lie. So I want to tell you, ODM is not the SG. I am not ODM. The party chairman is not ODM. ODM is a movement of people, over 5 million Kenyans who are registered members of ODM. And there is a way in which organizations such as ODM make a decision. Let me tell you, Trevor, why we were insisting on having a conversation before any of these things happen. Because right now, like Sifuna, I eat, dream, and leave ODM. If today I find myself seated next to Kindiki in cabinet to discuss what are we going to implement, because a conversation would have happened in which we would have agreed that, first of all, the president is going to rip up his bottom-up manifesto, and then we are going to rip up our Azimio manifesto. We come up with a document that encompasses the beliefs and the priorities of both political parties. What manifesto are these people going to implement? I heard the president very clearly yesterday. He said they are going to implement the bottom-up transformative manifesto. And I can assure you, Mbadi has no idea what bottom-up means, because he's a member of ODM. I know him. So for us, we needed to have a conversation first, to have a document that says, this is what we're going to do and this is the priority areas. For ODM, our priority areas have never changed. We are a pro-people party. We are not going there to talk about all these other things. For instance, Trevor, I as SG of ODM hold that the first thing I would do in government is to roll back all the taxation that has been imposed by this government. Is John Mbadi going to be able to do that as a cabinet secretary for treasury? Without a framework, without a conversation.
So do they have the blessing of the party?
They do not. The position that we gave in the statement that I issued 2 days ago is that they are going to join government in their individual capacities. And we don't begrudge them. In fact, I wish them well. But for you to conflate and say that this is the decision of ODM or that ODM has joined a party or a government, you have to show me a document. Because when there are negotiations to form a coalition government, and these two, luckily for me, both of them are lawyers, there has to be an instrument that lays out the nature of the relationship and what we aim to achieve together.
So will they be facing disciplinary like what Ojienda and the rest went?
That is not a decision for Sifuna. I speak for organs of the party, and I can tell you that there has not been any meeting of any organs of the party after the conversation that has happened yesterday. So we will be briefing the public because there's nothing to hide.
Okay.
Make something clear to my brother Tom Ojienda, that there is a difference between knowledge and blessing. When we issued the statement that we issued 2 days ago, we said that any member of ODM who's made themselves available for joining or appointment to government would be doing that in the individual capacity and without the blessing of the party. Because as a party, if we are going to take collective responsibility for a decision, it has to be a decision that is reached at, by the party. I don't speak for myself, Trevor. And I want Ojienda to understand that by the time we get to November of this year, I will be the longest serving SG of ODM. You do not stay in that position by issuing statements that you have not consulted about or not sanctioned by any organ of the party. I don't speak for myself. When I don the cap of SG, I speak for organs of the party, decisions that have been made by organs of the party. So did we know that people were negotiating with Ruto? Yes, we knew. Was it something that was being done officially or formally through the party structures? No. Did we endorse the decision by these 4 individuals to join government? No. It is not a decision of ODM. If you are getting into a government of national unity, you will show me a document. Trevor, even the much maligned handshake between Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, there was a document. You saw the two of them at Harambee House saying this is what we have agreed. It would have been different if when the president was announcing these names, he would have said, and by the way, I listened to his words. Even the president himself never said he consulted Raila. He never said he consulted ODM. He just said the names of the people that he has appointed, and it is his prerogative as a president. I don't speak for myself. I speak for the party. And until the day I no longer speak for the party, then I will continue speaking for the party. So what we want to say is this, Trevor. Number one, I expect that by the end of the day or before they go for vetting, we will receive resignations of these people from their positions in the party. That is my expectation, because the law is that they cannot go into cabinet as partisan members of political parties. Number two, if ODM was asked, if Raila Odinga was asked to present names of people who are capable of turning around this country and address the issues that have been raised by Gen Z, the Raila Odinga that I know will not present 4 names of all men. That one I can tell you for a fact. In fact, we have a very strong sentiment within the party. Even during meetings of the party, if you give 3 men to speak before a woman speaks, you will be in trouble. There is no way Raila presents 4 names, 2 from one region, in a party as diverse as ODM. I am telling you, this is not a decision of Raila Odinga. It is a decision made between these members and the president himself. Number 4, you would have to show me a document signed by the party leadership themselves that acknowledges or agrees that we are now going to go into a coalition with any other political party. Trevor, I am not averse to conversations. In fact, I was very surprised after the election in South Africa. I never knew or expected that the DA would have conversations with the ANC to form a government of national unity. But it happened. But it was a formal conversation. I have met members of a DA, and they have told me the process they went through, that these people, these 2 political parties, hold different views on different things. For instance, on the question of taxation, you know our position as ODM, that in fact we cannot continue to lump taxes on Kenyans in the current economic environment. We have a different view. I would have preferred a situation where you sit down and you say the country is in a crisis. We would want a way out. What are your thoughts? And then after that, you go to the question of Now that we have agreed this is what we need to do, who are the people who you believe would best help us to achieve this? In the absence of such a process, Trevor, it is difficult for you to bind a party like ODM and say that this is a decision of ODM. I will never keep quiet, Trevor, because luckily for me, even when I am not SG of ODM, I am the senator of Nairobi. I can very well come to this show to speak for the people of Nairobi. If it is deemed anywhere else that I do not speak for ODM, I will not be SG of ODM forever. And I believe that in the party, there is enough talent for people to be able to do this job. I will not hang on to the position of ODM if my views are diametrically opposed to the position of the party. In fact, Trevor, I have made it clear to the leadership of the party that if I am made, or we are made to vacate the position that we took, that this decision was not a decision of a party, then my position as SG will be untenable. I am ready to make that position very clear. But I cannot be seen to be a madman just saying things that I do not know. When a member of parliament who attended a PG, misrepresents what happened in that PG, what is supposed to happen to that member of parliament? Because the party constitution still says that I'm the spokesperson of a party. And I have never misrepresented the position of a party or misrepresented the position of any organ of ODM. So what I want to say here, Trevor, that I have lived my life. I have pledged to always be truthful to the people of Kenya, the people who elected me. I will never come here to give you a position other than a position that I believe to be true. So lastly, Trevor, you have a situation where you have 4 members of ODM in a cabinet of 22, you know? And there was a very interesting gentleman that I met during the Lekomo dialogue called David Coltart. He is currently the mayor of Bulawayo. And he was telling us a story of when they got into a government of national unity in Zimbabwe during the time of Morgan Tsvangirai and what was his name? Mugabe. And these guys, they used to be called for cabinet meetings. They are told the cabinet meeting is going to start at 10. But because they are not insiders in government, by the time they arrive at 10 for cabinet meetings, the real cabinet meeting ended at 9. And then you are just there being told, oh, your PS will brief you or whoever will brief you. I feel very bad for my chairman, John Mbadi, because he's a man that I respect. I don't see how he's going to have any impact in this government where he is a minority, essentially. And you are seated there with people. I was the first person, actually, to laud the president for firing his entire cabinet. I was in shock when he reappointed the same people. It is impossible for you as a member of ODM to go, for instance, for me as SG of ODM, to go and have a conversation with Kindiki about reforming the police, about accountability for the people who shot innocent protesters in the streets. Kindiki and Duale are not people you can have a conversation about these things. So in the full and grand scheme of things, I have to answer to the people of ODM because I speak for them. And when they ask me the question, Sifuna, what do you think is going to be achieved by these 4 gentlemen in this cabinet of 22? Or people who are diametrically opposed to everything that we stand for. They don't have the fiber that we have. So it would have been nice, because even for me, in that conversation, Hillary, if we had had a broad conversation, I would have had a conversation about the entire makeup of cabinet. Because you have this thing that you call the all-of-government approach. You need people who are in sync. You cannot be pulling in 2 different directions. The National Executive Council of ODM, or the National Executive Committee of ODM, has over 30 people. The Central Committee of ODM has over 15 people.
But the leadership...
That's what I'm telling you. I am also there. That's what I'm telling you. If you see, I am not a coward, Trevor. If ODM made a resolution that we want to get into a coalition agreement or government of national unity with UDA, I would say it. I'm not afraid. This thing that I see people saying we are fearless. Fearlessness did not start with Gen Z. We are also fearless. I saw you write me a text message yesterday saying, oh, in the light of these developments, will you be brave enough to come to a show? I am not afraid of anything. I don't fear Gen Z. I don't fear Ruto. I don't fear Raila. I can say these things openly and tell you that it is not possible for the SG of ODM to speak for himself. I don't speak for myself. And in fact, the day that I start speaking for myself, I should be relieved of my duties. Blessing. Process is important, my brothers. These 2 friends of mine are lawyers, and I've said they understand. Tom Ojienda understands that process is important. We're always saying the same thing. I started by saying that there is no table that I will not go to. I don't consider William Ruto such a bad person that I cannot have a conversation with him. There is no one I cannot have a conversation with, Trevor. We all understand that it is in times of crisis such as this that leadership must emerge. I have been on record saying, and I remember even getting into trouble with some of the people online, I will talk to anyone. I will talk, because at the end of the day, that is the way out of the current crisis. We need to be able to come to a table and have a conversation about how we resolve these issues. These two colleagues are also senators like myself. A few weeks ago, we had a conversation with Aaron Cheruiyot, a person that I have come to greatly respect because of the way that he has conducted himself in the past few days, and understanding that the nation is greater than all of us. Sifuna is not averse to having conversations about the nation, about anyone. You know, so we sat down with Aaron Cheruiyot and we said, there are things that we have done wrong. All of us have contributed to the current state of affairs. Can we have a conversation? And I was very proud, Trevor. Yesterday, the Senate passed a motion to require some of these things that we've been saying are preconditions. For instance, compensation of the people who were shot and killed during the Maandamano or hurt, compensation of businesses that have been destroyed. We have called for an amnesty for all the people who were arrested during peaceful protests. And you saw some of that in the president's speech. This is a result of a conversation, an honest conversation about the state of affairs of our country. I am not averse to conversations. But process is important because it lays out what the responsibilities and expectations of both parties are going to be. When Raila Odinga got into government with Mwai Kibaki, there was a guiding document, 4 agenda items, and this is what we're going to expect, and this needs to be done, and if this doesn't done, the coalition collapses, and so on and so forth. That document doesn't have to be signed by Sifuna. If my party leader enters into an agreement like that and it is sanctioned by the organs of the party, I am also bound. I am telling you, Trevor, that as of today, I need to bear true witness to members of ODM. Members of ODM, I speak for members of ODM. I have to bear true witness to them as to the records of the party and what has happened in the meetings of the party. There is no document. Tom Ojienda is a member of only one organ of the party, and he doesn't even attend PG meetings. When was the last time Ojienda attended PG meetings? I take records of those meetings. I have not seen him in a PG since he went to State House. He doesn't know what the party is talking about. So you cannot ask him about the conversations within ODM. All we are saying, Trevor, is it is possible for the president to appoint individuals. He has seen the talent in John Mbadi or whoever else. He can appoint them. If you ask me as SG of ODM, I'm not going to present a name of a person who will necessitate a by-election, that I have to go back to the ground and start campaigning for a position. Yet there are many members of ODM, some of them who lost elections, some of them who have never been elected, and they have the talent. They have never been looked at because of the party affiliation that they hold. As SG, I have a global view of all the talent in the party. I am not going to present 4 men. I am going to present 2 women and two men. That is what I do. I'm going to present a name of a youth because the issues that are being raised right now have a lot to do with young people. You are telling me there are no young people in ODM. I am not going to take somebody from a position that he is already holding to give him another position. It is not possible. That's what I'm telling you. These are individuals who were tapped by the president directly. It was not a conversation in the party.
What does that mean for ODM now?
It doesn't mean anything. ODM as a party will remain a party. It is possible for people to leave the party. How many people have left ODM? The party has remained. And as I said, what I expect is that these people will now vacate these party positions to allow the party to refresh itself. Let them pursue we don't begrudge them. Let them pursue their own personal ambitions without having to tether the party to a decision that they took as individuals.
And what does this mean for Azimio? Because the other coalition members have disowned ODM.
That's what nobody has disowned ODM. Nobody has disowned ODM. You know, you people in the media, you try to sow discord for nothing. I was speaking to members of Azimio yesterday. Nobody has disowned ODM.
All of them have said they are not.
Nobody has disowned ODM. You would have to show me a resolution of Azimio saying they have disowned ODM. They have not disowned ODM.
You're the one who's talking about there's a difference between paperwork.
No. You can
just
play a clip.
Right
okay, do you have video?
Yes.
Do you have video?
Bring it up. Most of them
do you have video? Just show me. Show me a video.
Just the other day,
just a minute.
Wiped out the position.
Just a minute. All these political parties have structures. they speak through their officials. They have resolutions. If you can show me a meeting of WIPA, National Executive Committee, that resolved that they are done with ODM or that they are leaving the Azimio coalition, then we can speak. Trevor, you are saying things that don't exist. Don't force things. Trevor. At the end of the day, these political parties had different views on some of these things. Yeah. I'm telling you, at the joint PG of Azimio, I was there. You can ask me. These two were not there. He never attends PG meetings.
No, I was in that. I do.
Yeah. You don't. I'm the one who takes minutes here. Ojienda, you never attend meetings. He was not at the... Just a minute. He was not at the ODM PG. He was not at the Azimio PG. At the Azimio PG, because all these other political parties had met. So the first thing we did when we started the meeting of the Azimio PG is to read the resolutions of the different political parties. And I read the resolutions as SG on behalf of ODM. I remember the Senator for Kitui giving the resolutions of WIPA. And by the way, do you know, out of all those political parties, there were some that said they are opposed to dialogue, for instance. DAP Kenya were on record saying they want nothing to do with any national conversation. We have taken the position that we can talk to anyone. WIPA said they are willing to talk. Kalonzo Musyoka was our lead in the NADCO talks that resulted in some of these bills that my brother is talking about. He is not averse to the conversation. The Jubilee team also said they are not willing to engage with William Ruto in terms of any particular conversation, which is a position that we respect. Trevor, do you know what the coalition document says about disagreement in the coalition? It says that if you are not able to reach a common position, because decisions of the coalition have to be taken by consensus. Yeah. If you are not able to reach consensus, you are supposed to put it to a vote. There is no way we can put any matter in Azimio to a vote at a PG, because ODM is going to always to win. We have the numbers to win, but we never do that because as a party, we respect that these decisions have to be reached together by consensus. So
according to you, Azimio is still intact?
Azimio is still intact. I have not seen with any ODM political party. ODM has not left Azimio. There's no such resolution. And when I speak like this, you'll ask me, are you speaking for yourself or the party?
Yeah, so
I speak for organs of the party. If an organ of the party, if you resolve the decision to join Azimio, yeah. I was still the SG then. Last year before the election. It went through started at the Central Committee, a report by the party leader that he has been engaging in these conversations. It was ratified. It went to the National Executive Committee of the party. It was ratified. Yeah. I called the NGC. It was ratified at Bomas. And we took it all the way to the National Delegates Convention. It was ratified. So I can speak authoritatively for these organs of the party because I was there when those resolutions were being made. And it is my mandate to do so. So as we speak right now, Trevor, there is no resolution of any organ of ODM to disassociate ourselves from Azimio. And because we respect these partners, we are going to insist on consensus building on all these controversial issues. And I'm not aware of any decision of any of those constituent parties to abandon Azimio.